Okay, now also you can like how to combine two strings. There's two methods. You can like put the strings separated by either single commas and then plus put plus mark, or double quotations or triple quotations. You need to put plus mark in between each string type data, or you can use join. So it will automatically join. Now what we are doing, we are creating a simple variable a, type is integer, and now we are showing, okay, we are combining two different type of data together. One is string type, other one is integer type. Now if we need to combine that thing, we will use the percentage mark, and then we will show it will show us the value. If we use this percentage mark 6.4, that means is converting this one into a floating point value and showing the value of a. The answer is this one. If I type this, is also formatting. So this is a string. So it should print the entire thing over there, but it is formatting each value according to the format that I have given. There should be like 6 points and 4 should be decimal points. That's why we put like 6.4. That means all the number of digits in here is like 6. You can see, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of that 6, it's like there should be 4 floating points. So that's why 6.4 mean. And at the end, I am specifying f to mention this is a floating point number. And then at the end, I am saying format a in this way. So it should give me like 1, 2, and then note at the end is formatting and showing me the output. Now if I type speed equals 6, now print f and then HPA, what will happen? So now I am asking it to print. So the value of speed is 6, and within 2 I am saying like f, and then within 2 commas I am mentioning. So if it is 2 commas, it should be a string, and then I am using 2 curly brackets and mention the variable name is speed. So what's the value of speed? Is 6. So if I execute this one, it's showing me speed value 6 and the value of hectopascal. So we will use this one. Now you will think, okay, this is a small command, but you see, when you are like creating some scientific graphs, in the graph you need to mention, okay, you put the graph in here and then you will put like legend. You will put legend underneath here or in this side. But now you need to show the values. You need to show value, okay, from 0 to 1 or like 1 to 0 or something. You can say, okay, 0 to 1000, I will say 0 to 1000. Now at the end, you need to mention the units. So when we are printing the units, we will need to use something like this. So now it will be a small function, but when we are creating the plots, we will go with the same command. So this is the way we can like combine both numbers and strings together. And then list. I also discussed this one. In the list, we have different type of lists: integer list, then the string list, and then we can have multiple variable type list. So if I execute this one, what will happen? Type is a list, but inside this one, inside the list, all the value will be in integer format. So if I go inside here, all the values will be in integer format. So here you have, so that's the other thing. If you view the variables using this debugging icon, go to the debugger and show the variables, you can see 0 is the index, first point, first item of that list is 1. So how many items in that list? 6. So the length is also 6. So now if we need to create a list with strings, I discussed, when we need to create a string type variable, we need to use either single quotation, double quotation, or triple quotation. Now we are assigning this one in single quotations and separated with commas and covered with box bracket. So this one, it should give us this string. So if I reload this one, the string list. It should give me the string list. It's also the string. This string list also the type is string, but the variable stored in there is the string. All the variables or the list items stored over there is in the string type format. Now if I need to mix, okay, in that list I need to mix decimal numbers, floating point values, and sentence and everything. So how I can create such kind of list? So now you know how to create different type of data formats. So if I type 1 in between two box bracket, the main thing if you need to create a list is like box bracket. You need to use box bracket to create a list type data. In the inside this one, right now I am mentioning okay 1. So this one will create first index 0, 0 equal 1, and the data type will be int. And then the next one, second index 1 equal 1 point. I put 1 point. I mentioned if you need to go with floating, there's two ways. Either you can put 1 dot or you can type 1 dot the number of decimal places you need. If you put simply 1 dot, it will convert into a floating point number. And now if we type 2 plus 3j, it's a complex type data. And then we have the string, and then we have another string. So the difference between this one is, we mentioned if we put in single quotation or double quotation, it will be string, but only span across single line. But if you're going with multiple lines, here you see the long sentence is in another line. So if we need to combine these things, we need to use 3 double quotations in between 3 double quotation marks. So this one will create a list with mixed item. So here you can see first index is 1, second index is also 1, then the second one is the complex number 2 plus 3j, and then last one is also a string. So you can view this one by typing mixed list. When you type it, it will show 1, 1.0, 2 plus j, sentence, and then sentence. Type mixed list 0. Like if I type this one, what will happen? What's the output? I mentioned no matter what, if you type something in between type, it should give the what's the final output. If you type something inside this command, type, if you type something, what will happen? As the output is only giving you the data type. No matter what you are passing, it will give you the data type. Now the next thing that you have to solve is saying mixed list. So the variable name is mixed list. Over there, go for the index number 0. So the index number 0 from here you can see is 1. But right now you know the data format. If I type this one and execute, it should give me integer. But if I type 1, what should be the output? Is float. If I type 6, it should give me an error. Why? No, 6 is saying list index out of range, because there's no index that much long, because we only have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I type 3, 4 is giving me as a string, because from here I can see first index, second index, third index, fourth index is like string. And then accessing element and slicing list. So now you need to know how you can slice the list, because in NumPy we can load the entire thing. Like just imagine you have when it comes to like pandas and NumPy going alone with together. So in pandas you can read the tabular data. In tabular data you will have all the temperature variables in first column. So we will extract this first column and install it in a list. We can store them in a list. Now you have to manipulate that list. So right now these are the basics for those libraries. So in that when we are discussing those libraries, I will not going to discuss these things. You need to remember list item 0. So this one is like indexing, how we can get the specific item in the list. We are accessing the first element in that list. So if I type this one, it should be integer list. In integer list, I can open this variable explore and go with the integer list. I know the first value is 1. If I type -1, it's going reverse, because you know values are going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go -1, -2, -3, it's going reverse. That means it should go like this: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So there are two ways of accessing. Either you can go with minus, either you can go with positive. But for easy access, we are using positive. But if I type -1, what should I get? The last value. The same way, if I type -2 or -3, if I type -3, what should I get? Fourth value. So there are two ways. Either you can type the positive integer or you can type the negative integer. But you need to know about the trick. So in the positive way, it should go like this. If it is negative, it should start from last to first. But if I type -6 or something, it will not give me output. It will also show me the same thing. Now -6 it will give. What will happen? It will keep repeat. So after this one, -5, -6. It will go like a loop. If you go from the minus side, if I can type -10. No, it's giving me index out of range, because no, in here I have, no, actually it's not going with the minus values, but in the int list, how many values I have? Int list I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I reverse, it should have like -6, but -7, I don't think that I can go with -7. It should give me index out of, yeah, out of range. -6 is the first value. So same way I can access. There's two ways. If I type 0, the same way I can get the list first value. Even -6, I can get the first value. And int list all minus, this is reversing the entire list. So entire list will be reversed. So last time the list is from 1 to 6, now 6 to 1. If you put like two dots and then what we call this one, two colons, and then put minus at the end, it will reverse the list. And int list is, this is the original form, and this is the reversed form. This is the reverse form. And then int list reverse. There are two ways of reversing. Either you can type this way or you can type the command. So how to view the docstring? Shift tab, you will see the main function of this one is reverse whatever the thing in place. In the same way I can reverse the list, and then int list it will reverse. And then what is this? Now I have created something separated between two box brackets. Inside also I have like some box brackets. So now what will happen? Inside the list I have two separate lists. So that means you can create list inside list as well. So within two box bracket, if you separate using commas, this will be the first list and this will be the second list. So the first list also I have some values, and in the second list also I have some values. This is like, this will be like what, if we go with the table format, it will be like we are importing two columns into one list. So this will be the first column and this will be the second column. So likewise, if you have multiple columns, you can get all the column values into one single list and do with your calculation. So if I print this one, what will happen? Now I am mentioning type of x0. X0 is what? So x is a list. In x0 mean is asking for the first index. So in here I have two items. Both are list. So this should be list. Even if I type 1, it should give me list because two items are there. From here also you can see what's the value I assign? X. So if you see, x is a list, 0 is also list, 1 is also list. That's why I go with Jupyter Lab. In Jupyter Notebook, you don't have this function. You cannot view your variable and everything. But in here, if you click on this bug icon, it will show all the variables you have loaded. And then how to flatten a list. If you need to flat a list, you can import this one, this toolbox. This will we will not use this one to flatten something, but this is just the basics. So I will not discuss that much. And the other thing is append. Append mean what? You can view the docstring. Just view the append. What's the docstring? Even from the meaning, you can like recognize what will happen. You can like add item to the list. At the end of the list, if you need to add an item, you can use the word append, the function append. So integer list, what's the value of integer list? So if I type int space, I like from this one also, if you loaded any variable, you need to know, okay, from int, what are the variables or anything that I have created is loaded, you can press tab. Just type first few lines like I know is I is starting from int. If I type int and hit tab, it will show me this is a class, but this is the instance. That means the variable that I have created. So I can simply select this one. I don't need to type the entire variable name. I can simply type this and then hit enter. So this is the list right now. So now what I am saying, okay, append 7. So if I type this one, what will happen? Now if I view the list, at the end, 7 should be added. So no matter what, if I type append, within bracket, I can assign the any type of variable and say, okay, like append this one at the end of the list. So it's not going for a specific place, it's appending at the very end of that list. And then int list, if I view the int list, now I am saying int list 0 equal to, now what will happen? Now what will happen? Now what I am going to do? I am going to replace one number in that list. So this will be useful. Just imagine when you are importing like temperature values from the stations, you will see in some places we have like NaN value, none values. But when we are going with the calculation, sometimes it will give you error, not the none values. Sometimes you will see 0 as value, because that means over that place we don't have values. But before the calculation, we need to replace all of these 0 values with none or any other value. To replace, to do such kind of operation, you need to understand this basic syntax. So if you understand this basic syntax, you can like replace the values inside the list, like 0 into a text value or anything. Then you can do with the calculation. So what it will do, integer list within box bracket I am saying 0. So I am accessing the first list item in that list. So the first item is 6 and assign 2. What will happen? 6 will be removed and it will be replaced with 2. So if I type the list, now it's replaced. So if I count in list count 2, what will happen? I discussed about this one in the count command. What will it do? No matter what, within bracket, if I assign something, it will count how many times that thing is occurred. So now it will count how many times 2 is occurred. In here we have 2 times. So if I type this one, I can replace the second place also with the 2. Now what will happen? 2, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7 will be there. So if I execute the count, it will say 3 times. So shipping also I am not going to discuss, but you can like go with the list, because here we have to discuss more things. If I go to discuss all the things, it will take more time. So I will skip some things, like not all the things. I will skip. So this is also a small thing. It's not that much big of a thing. Like you can see a equal list range 5. What will happen? A equal range 5. So range is a command. So what it will do? Range is saying range object. It will give values from 0 to 5. If you assign, okay, 5, that means is creating values from 0 to 5 and storing in a list. If I execute this one, what will happen? Range is 5. Go from 0 to 5, but not the 5. At the end, last time I say, if we mention something like 0, semicolon 5, it will not go for fifth point. fifth element, but it will return 4. But the total count will be 5 because it's starting from 0. So now it's creating a list. This is like the way to create a random list. What will happen if I type 10 in here? 0 to 9. It will create a random list from 0 to 9. And it will show me. Now list range. Now I am specifying the range. Now what will happen? Range from 5 to 0. Because in here in the docstring they mention we can go from range. Start, we can assign start and then stop. Separated using 2 commas. Otherwise, I can directly give the stopping value. If I give the stopping value, first time I give only the stopping value. So it will stop at 10. But right now I am assigning, okay, this is the starting point and this is the ending point, separated by 2 commas. Now, in this function, what it will do? If you understand the docstring, if you read the docstring, you can see, okay, this will be happen at the end. So what it will happen? It will create a list starting from which number? 5 to 9. It will not go for 9. If you at the end I am asking, okay, semicolon is, why we are using a semicolon in here? Guys who are familiar with coding, they know. It will break the line. If we need to break the line, we need to put a semicolon. If I delete the semicolon, what will happen? Now it's like the compiler reading this entire line as a single comma. So it will give me an issue. If I need to do something like this, then I have to shift enter this one, not shift enter, I have to enter this command. Because if I enter this one, it will understand, okay, this is a separate command because this is starting from a new line. But if I am typing the same command in the same line, it will give me an issue. Just, okay, let me delete this one and show, okay. Now the semicolon is not there. I am trying to execute this one. It is saying print B, invalid syntax, because I didn't separate. So there's 2 ways. If you need to type the entire command in a single line, you need to put the breaking points using semicolon. Otherwise, you need to break them using a line. So now it will generate another list from 5 to 9. So here I will create the list to 5, otherwise it will give me error. So now A plus B, what will happen if I type A plus B? Now you know, list A, the value of list A is this and value of list B is this. Now A plus B, you can execute and see the command, what will happen? If you execute this cell, you can execute using the shift enter. What happened? Just at the to list. Now if I type something like this, the same thing, A equal list, range from this one, B equal range from this one, print A, print B, A plus B, same command. And then if I type list zip A and B, what is happening? If I type zip AB, so you know list AB, you can like view the list A and B. Let me add 2 cells underneath to show you the A and B. So what's the values of A? 0.20 to 5, and what's the values of B? 5 to 9. So if we type list, that means you can view the docstring of list. Build a mutable sequence, that means create an empty list. Whenever you need to create an empty list, you can simply type list and then within bracket. So this will create an empty list. So now inside that list, I need to zip these 2 values. If I print like zip, what will happen? Now we are coming for the dictionaries. In like next section, we will discuss about dictionaries, because in dictionaries we need to have the instead of index we will have a value. So if we need to call for a variable, we will call for that variable name. When we call for that variable name, instead of the, it will give us the value. Last time we call like sentence within box bracket 0, no? So we call from indexing. Now we are going to replace this index to a name. So if we replace this to a name, it will be much easier. So we don't need to repeat, okay, if we have a huge amount of list, we need to remove like keep in our memory the entire list. So to zip this one, we can use zip. If we view the docker string of the zip command, what it is doing, zip object is n length tuple where n is the number of libraries passes at the position argument and zip. So simply what it is doing, 0, 5. So it's combining these two values together and create one tuple, and the second tuple will be 1, 6, and the third will be 2, 7, and the fourth will be 3, 8, then 4 will be 4, 9. So then the tuples. So int tuple, this one, if I view the command, now you know how we can see inside of a variable. There's two ways. Either we can print the variable or we can directly type the variable name. So I can print int, directly type int and tab. I will need to use tuples. So it will show me this one. So when you are creating tuple, what's the difference between tuple and list? When you are creating a list, you use box bracket. When you are creating tuple, you will use brackets. You will use brackets. So there's two ways. I can either go with this way or I can go this way. Int tuple 2 to 4. This is like indexing. 2 to 4 mean it should give me the indexing point like 3 to 4. So it will show me 0, 1, 2 is starting from 3 to 5. Then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will not show me the fifth position. It will show me the fourth position. That means 6. So next, this is like indexing. We can directly call index 2. So if we call index 2, what will happen? Just view the docker string. Return the first index of a value. So if I type index 2, what it is giving me? What does it mean? This is the other way around. Last time I access, if I create the tuple 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the values, no? Now the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the index. So from the index I access the values. Now I need to know, okay, if I type the value, it should give me. If the value is there, just give me the index of that value. Now what it is doing? It is checking for value 2 and giving me the index. So in this tuple, what's in where I have the value 2? In this position. So what's the index corresponding to that value? 2. So it should give me 2. Likewise, if I type int tuple index 4, what it should give me? Here if I type int tuple, then index, if I type 4, what should it return to me? From here you can see, I am asking about fourth value. What's the value? In this one, I am not this one, I am asking about this, 4. It should give me 0, 1, 2, 4 is not there. So if I type this one, it should give me an error. Because value 4 is not in that tuple list. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 is not there. But if I type 5, what will happen? From the error you can see tuple index x. X is not a tuple because the value 5 is not over there. But if I type 5, what will happen? It's giving me 3. Why? 0, 1, 2, 3. So the index of this one is. So if you have a large list, but you need to recognize, okay, where is this number is located, which index. So you can use .index command to find the index of that specific number. And this is also a way you can create a tuple. You can directly separate numbers using commas to create a tuple. int tuple 0, this is like indexing and replacing. So what the same thing. What will this thing do? int tuple 0 is the index. 0 is the index, that means 1, and replace it with 1. So what we can say? Tuples are not mutable. That means if we create a tuple variable, we cannot reassign values. But for the list we can do. But for the tuples, we cannot reassign. So you need to know about these things when you are creating the variables as well. So for some specific variables we can replace, but for some specific variables we cannot replace. For the tuples, we cannot replace. So the typical command, last time we did this one. If it is sentence 0, it will access the first letter of that sentence and replace with the letter that we assign, letter or any value that we assign. But in tuples, if we are going to replace the first index value with something, it will not replace because tuple object type is not supporting assignment of new values. So from the error, now you can read the errors. So this kind of error, you don't need to put it into a ChatGPT or something. You know what's the issue. That's what I'm saying. Like this kind of thing, if you put into a ChatGPT, it will confuse and give you some confusion. But now, if you can understand this kind of small errors, you don't need to go with ChatGPT or any AI again and again. Now, next thing is list compression. Should I continue or we can start tomorrow? Because here we have some other things like logical operators, less than, equal. You guys know about this thing or should I need to discuss this thing? Then we can discuss these things tomorrow because you need to know about these things, the logical operators. Otherwise, I can like load a big code and like discuss the code. But the thing is, without basics, you will not understand that code. That's why we are going to the preschool. No, otherwise, in our childhood, we can directly come for like bachelor's or master's. Okay, tomorrow we can discuss the rest then. Because these things you need to understand very well. So from tomorrow we will discuss about list compression.